Hey everyone! You ever had to make a tough decision, evaluate the pros and cons of a decision? Well, I'm going to talk about discernment in today's culture. And so discernment, big word, we're going to actually define that a little bit. Webster's dictionary defines discernment as the ability to see and understand people, things, and situations clearly and intelligently. And the Christian definition explains it this way: the ability to judge well, or the perception, in the absence of evaluation, obtaining spiritual direction and understanding. So essentially, discernment is actually a quality or an ability to just grasp and comprehend, life circumstances. And so we do this every day. We discern every day. Guys, when you get up in the morning, you probably run straight to the refrigerator to feed your stomachs, right? I know that's what I do. And women, you probably run straight to the bathroom to look in the mirror and get ready, right? And so we do some of these things unconsciously. But we definitely have a challenge in our culture when it comes to discerning and how we discern. If we think about how we discern, there's not much of a process that maybe goes on or that we can actually think of in the moment. Because, see, we live in an I culture. Everything is quickly accessible. We have electronic gadgets that's supposed to speed up our effectiveness, but yet we have less time to do anything, right? We have iPads, iTouches, iPhone. Everything is about I. And our lives basically revolve around us. And so we definitely are challenged when it comes to discerning in situations. And so I'm a movie person, and I love watching movies, and I just wanted to share a movie that came out a couple of years ago. Some of you may know it, some of you may not, but it's a movie called Courageous. It's by a independent, faith-based production company, and the message of the movie, or the theme of the movie, is actually centered around fatherhood. 4 main characters make up this movie, and they're all fathers in different situations, and they interact with each other. But I wanted to single out one of them. One of them is actually Javier. He's an immigrant worker here, and he is out of work. He's struggling to provide for his family. He has 2 kids at home, a wife, and he's been in and out of work. And so he finally, as the movie progresses, he finally lands a job, and he lands a good opportunity. And so he's doing really well. He gets recognized by the management team, and they call him in. They want to promote him. They want to promote him to management. And so he's pretty excited about the opportunity. And he's standing, he's sitting across from the desk of the president of the company, and the president of the company tells him about how they acknowledged him, how he felt about it, and they were excited to bring him on board. But there is something that's going to be required in the position, and Javier's told that he has to be able to fudge the numbers, be untruthful, and report untruthful numbers for the benefit of the company. And so Javier was really conflicted hearing this. And so the president of the company, he noticed that, and he said, why don't you take a day to think about it, and you can give us your answer tomorrow. And so he goes and takes it to his wife, and he consults with his wife, and he's very conflicted, and she as supportive as I think she wanted to be, she definitely reminded him of the reality of their world about not having stability with their income. And so he comes back, and he makes a decision, actually a courageous decision, ironically, that he says, I'm not the person for you, but he appreciates the opportunity. Well, the president heard exactly what he wanted to hear. And so he was testing him. He was testing Javier, because he was testing his honesty, and they wanted to be able to know if they could trust Javier. And so when you think about that decision, that's not an easy decision. He had to take a look at, if I don't take the job, I'm going to lose my job. If I do take the job, I'm going to be conflicted with having to make unethical decisions. And so his morals actually became a big part of how he decided. But probably even more important is he wanted to honor the Lord. And so what does the Bible tell us about discernment? Well, we look at the book of Romans. In the book of Romans, Paul is just really laying out the fundamental principles of an authentic Christian. And so when we look at chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, it says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, offer your bodies as a sacrifice, pleasing and holy to God. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and know what is God's will, which is good, pleasing, and perfect will." And so these verses, I mean, you're talking about do not conform to the pattern of this world. You know, there's a pattern in this world. And so we have to be able to learn to discern, not in the direction of the I culture, but in the direction of Lord's culture. And so we have the power of choice. But if we understand how to discern, we can actually make good choices, godly choices. That only comes with spending time with the Lord. Because see, the Lord wants to make us holy. He wants to make us holy because He wants us with Him for eternity. And so He gives us the gift of life. And all He asks is that we give our lives as a gift back to Him. And so, discernment. Learn, commit, and you'll succeed.